2-sentence horror stories.
On a
During the
camping trip,
sleepover,
me and
the
my
girls
friends thought it
giggled
would be
and
fun
swapped
to go
ghost
search for the
stories,
infamous
trying to scare
Wendigo
each
said
other
to be
silly.
hidden in the woods.
But as the night wore on
With a laugh,
and some knives
we
had
returned to
gone
camp
missing,
having had
they
no luck.
realized the true
But I swear
horror
I
was
remember
not the
only inviting
supernatural,
5
but
people
the
on
dark
this trip,
secrets
not
they had
6.
all been keeping from each other.
As I tucked my daughter
As the
in
girls
bed, she
settled in
whispered,
for their
"Daddy,
sleepover,
there's a monster
they told
under
a
my
story
bed."
of a killer on the loose
laughed and
who would
reassured
attack
her
their
there was no such
targets
thing.
after watching them
But
for
as
a
I turned
night.
to leave the room,
Imagine
a
their
deep voice
surprise
replied,
when they awoke to a
"She's right,
note
you know."
taped to their window. "I'm not just a story."
It was a beautiful day to be swimming in the ocean with dolphins. The people on the shore keep yelling bark, but I have no idea why.
After the ship sank, the 10-man crew was overjoyed to see the emergency life raft float to the surface a few meters away. That is, until they read the instructions printed on the side. This life raft seats 8.
As she played Roblox, she noticed a new player who had joined her game with the username Unknown. They played together for hours, but when she tried to log out, a message popped up that read, "I'm not done playing with you yet." As she played Roblox late at night, she noticed that her character wasn't moving in sync with her controls. Suddenly, a message popped up on the screen that read, "Sorry, I'll control you better next time." The townspeople whispered about the mad scientist who lived on the outskirts of town, conducting bizarre experiments in his secluded laboratory. But when a group of teenagers snuck into his lab, they discovered that the scientist wasn't experimenting on animals or machines, but on human beings, and they were next on his list.
The scientist had always been obsessed with returning the dead to life, and despite a lifetime's work, he never succeeded. But as he awoke trapped in a box beneath the earth, he realized inhaling those fumes all those years must not have been good for his health.
As I gazed into her eyes, I saw the abyss staring back at me, beckoning me to join her in the embrace of eternal darkness. And in that moment, I knew that my love for her was a curse, a gateway to unspeakable horrors beyond comprehension.
As I entered the old mansion, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me from the shadows. It wasn't until I saw her, with tentacles writhing from her face, that I realized the true horror of the family's curse.
Deep in the darkness of the earth, our footsteps splashed in the water as we worked our back through the cave. The water certainly wasn't there before, and the narrow crawl space through which we had to crawl to get out was now submerged.
I slowly descended to the earth on my own, enjoying the thrill of my first skydive. The others were descending much quicker. They really should have checked to see if anyone had tampered with their chutes. She woke up to the sound of her baby crying in the middle of the night, but when she entered the room, she felt panic as it was gone. As she reached the crib, the last words she heard were from a voice behind her saying, "Don't take my child away from me again," as the door closed.
As the new parents listened to the baby monitor, they smiled as they heard their child's soft coos. Suddenly, a chilling laugh, accompanied by an unknown voice, whispered, "I'll take good care of him."
She looked at the ultrasound screen and smiled, counting her unborn baby's tiny fingers and toes while the physician screamed in terror. Karen scrolled in terror through the pictures of herself fast asleep on her phone.
As I huddled in my tent, I could hear the distant howls of a wolf echoing through the forest. But when I finally dared to peek outside, I realized the true horror was the glowing red eyes staring back at me from the other side of the tent.
As they sat around the campfire, the group noticed an eerie silence had settled around them. Suddenly, they realized the forest was completely devoid of all sound, save for the faint whispering of a voice they couldn't quite place. My mother always told me that we're all capable of doing terrible things, and that we should forgive those who do. Little did I know she was seeking forgiveness for what was buried in our backyard.
The search party shouted with joy as they watched the boy, had been missing for months, exit the woods, dirty but none the worse for wear. What they did not know was that he had been raised by wolves, and his family was here for dinner.
I hope you enjoyed these.